you, Shovik, for your nice introduction. Thankful to the BBIT authority, particularly the committee who organized this event. My old friends at BBIT. I know many of you, and I enjoyed my stay during my association with BBIT for giving an opportunity to share, even although virtual mode, but they share faces amongst us. Thank you very much. Thank you all. So today I'll be talking. I have to prepare some of the slides because of my health problem. I don't know the time that I'll be trying to make within 1 hour. I'll be going fast. So what I request that during my presentation, those who have query, they can note down the slide number for question and session. Every slide has its number, so that will help me in presenting in a better way. We can start the question and answer session by referring to the slide number. Thank you. So I think I should share present now. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible now.
Okay, okay. Okay, my topic is smart grid to foster reliable energy efficient distribution system. Although I am not an electrical engineer, but I'm in this area, so I have taken something. I dare to present something on this based on my experience, and I hope that I'll be able to contribute something in the minds of the young students. Presentation, I'll start with the introduction that electricity transmission and distribution system using smart technologies leads to smart grid. And it is formed by just interconnecting different system elements, grid, usually through the internet, so that the resilience of the network is increased. That means it becomes free from any interference, things of disadvantage. This in turn helps the consumers, electrical consumers, to take some sort of ownership of the energy transmission from the new technologies. Smartification of the energy system introduced a range of new societal conditions and consequences. Just show you the traditional electricity transmission and distribution system, which all of you perhaps are aware of, starting from the generating station to transmission through extra high voltage towers, substations, various stages of substation, the voltage, generated voltage, so that it reaches the consumers. Consumers, there are two types of consumers. One is industrial consumers. They need three-phase distribution, even 11 kV also. And domestic consumers, what we need normally, that is 220 volt. So we'll keep in this mind about the traditional network, and I'll talk about some of the preludes that there has been no substantial change in this electricity grid architecture during the last century, but there has been a substantial change in the distribution system with emphasis on efficiency, reliability, sustainability of the energy generation, so that what we produce, it is effective, is efficiently distributed with reliability, and it can sustain for longer time. Role of information communication technologies emerged in this. It is coming as the enabler technology, and there has been a revolutionary emerging electric grid paradigm and reliability that integrates renewable energy using enabler technologies such as cloud computing and Internet of Things. The proceed we will be talking about. First, we talk something about the grid. It is a parallel and distributed system of geographically sparse autonomous resources for coordinated activities such as coordinated sharing, common selecting, and problem solution based on the resource availability, capability, cost, requirement of desired quality of service under dynamic environment. Whereas the electrical grid, we talk about the autonomous resources. The autonomous resources in electrical grid is the network of transmission lines, substations, transformers, and similar things, which delivers electricity right from the remote power plants to the customer premises. So electric power grid simplifies the job for electricity users, as the computer grid does for making computing power to the users. Layered architectures of grid, starting from a fabric layer where all physical hardware resources like storage sensors, computing servers are stored. Then connectivity layer, which connects resource request to actual resources by establishing a communication with user permission, data security, etc. Third one is the resource services layer, which runs an application of various resources of hardware and software under collective operations. So next is the collective layer, which monitors and replicate, authorize, and these the users, the demands. And finally, the application layer, development kits reside inside, and all applications, control programs are controlled by that kits. So this is the arrow sign shows that it is going for the towards the physical to application layer. Grid topologies are concerned. There are three topologies. Intra-grid, as the name implies, it is the local within the grid activities of an organization. The grid communicates with the external devices for the resource of consortium of organizations connected to virtual private network VPNs. It is the global sharing of resources among the grids. And in intra-grid, the trust is based on individual contracts. Trust is on business to business basis, whereas the inter-grid is for certification basis. I mean, the grid owner will certify the authenticity of its output. Grid services and types. I'll talk about first utility services with utility grid towards market-based grid computing, leasing and delivering grid services as ICT utilities. Knowledge grid, where knowledge services are provided, the way knowledge we acquire, process and manage, data mining, using data mining like this. Then interaction grid is for interactive services, virtual tables, group communication, access grid, gaming, etc. Next is the ASP grid, is a web-based for application services, remote software, libraries, like NetSol, etc. These are managed to the data grid for collaborative data sharing, instruments, sensors, and persons with some examples I have given. Then computational services is concerned in CPU cycles for pooling computing power from the various grids, as I mentioned, is the purpose of the computational grid. These grids are, moving from user to infrastructure. The topmost knowledge is towards user, most users likely, and the computation is the infrastructure likely. Now the challenges of the grids are why you go for smart. There is security concern. The question whether we are able to access the grids uniformly or not, centralized. Resource discovery is a concern. We don't know where are the small generating stations. Management, network management, computational economy, application construction, resource allocation and scheduling. These are the challenges which are supposed to meet using enabling technologies. Distributed computing for utility computing and grid computing. Then system management for automatic computing, data center automation. Hardware for virtualization, multi-core chips, and internet connectivity, internet technologies using service-oriented architecture, Web 2.0 web services. But this requires, services it requires software, it requires some platform, it requires application, it requires huge data storage, cloud computing to solve this. So enabling technologies comprises of these 5 technologies, including cloud computing as the center of all. Now come to smart grid. It is an electric grid that uses ICT tools to collect, process, and analyze data about the behavior of both the electrical power suppliers as well as the consumers. Fashion. Information communication technology is 2 parts. Information technology, it requires 4 domains: embedded systems and power electronics, control systems, system analytics, machine intelligence, a telecom network as the backbone, energy network, internet services, and intelligent consumer management. These 7 are the domains of the ICT. To make smart grid requires application of computer intelligence and networking abilities to the existing dumb electricity distribution, as mentioned at the beginning, and the digital technology that allows for two-way communication and its consumers, and the sensing along the transmission line is what makes the grid smart. So this is that digital technology makes the grid smart. Supply to consumers is made after monitoring, analysis, control, and within the supply chain to help improve efficiency, reduce the energy consumption and cost, optimize transparency and reliability of the energy supply chain. Features of the smart grid is that it is software-based, automated control for transmission, distribution management, energy management and decision support, management and self-healing quicker restoration in case of any power problem, management costs for utilities, dynamic pricing mechanism with incentive to the consumers to alter usage during different times of day based on pricing signals. A reduced peak demand is and leading to lower electricity rates is one of the advantages of this smart grid. It integrates the customer-owned power generation system, including large-scale renewable energy system. That I will talk in details how it integrates. Importantly, very important feature is the real-time monitoring to track usage through in-house displays in smart meters with power account and power management mobile applications and web portals. Opportunity to reduce and conserve electricity, the user has the opportunity. It improves security and also visits electrical and infrastructure that makes it reliable, efficient, economical, and environment friendly. With these features, now we talk about very important aspect of power grid. That is when it is connected to distributed energy sources. Now, distributed energy sources means the what you call the renewable power generators. That is wind power, solar power, or biomass power. Like these are the small microgrids called distributed energy sources. These DERs, we call it DERs on now onwards, they are subject to uncertainty, and integrating these into the main distribution network may significantly affect its reliability. It is necessary to appropriately characterize the uncertainty and implement a robust integration plan for the DERs. Not that I produce some, very less voltage and just connect it to the grid. That is not possible. To synchronize, we have to uplift the power, we have to boost it in many ways that I will discuss. So electrical power grid will transform into more secure, reliable, sustainable, and efficient system when it becomes smart grid. Smart grid infrastructure is the infrastructure that traditionally we have as electrical normal grid, plus an infrastructure for intelligence and telecommunication infrastructure on this existing. If we combine these two, then it will become the total smart grid infrastructure. Now this transmission part is the state-of-the-art technology with synchrophasers. So phasers has to be synchronized. For that, we need a wide area monitoring system for bandwidth communication using optical ground wire, OPGW. Have the idea of the OPGW for them. Let me talk that this is a very, very important component of the smart grid system. All of you perhaps have seen the topmost wire on the transmission line, that is ground wire, transmission system from lighting, etc. Nowadays, the steel made is having a core of optical fiber. Fiber is electrically insulated, and if it is grounded, so there will be no problem with telecommunication. Now, already we talked about the application of technology, the application of networking, the application of data flow. So this requires a communication channel. So that communication channel is offered by OPGW. That the fiber optic cable of high bandwidth capability is embedded into the steel wire, ground wire, which protects the transmission line as well as keeps the communication alive even at any adverse weather condition. High resolution time synchronization of data useful for calibration monitoring, the percentage of damping, measured sensitivity, phase angle difference, transmission load analysis are helped by this OPGW. Now, what is computing in smart grid? Smart grid requires special computation power for connecting dispersed resources who are located apart in different places over high-speed networks. High efficient network with high speed, huge data storage capability, high quality of service required, very high computation capability, and therefore we need a computer control, power network, electrical grids to provide efficient and smooth management, monitoring, and information. Exchange of distributed power networks with diverse, widespread resource of power generation and electrical grid transformation is the central generation, which is transformed into collaborative networks, which incorporates customer appliances and equipment and modern information devices into the distribution. Complex computing using enabler technologies, as I mentioned, which are not achievable by the traditional technology. Now, computation entities require a few things. One very important is the load forecasting. You have to forecast the load and accordingly manage your network, power network, grid network. Then demand side management, DSM, is a specialization in the smart grid. Then dynamic pricing based on real time, time of use, and critical peak typing. I remind you that in smart grid, the pricing is done like this. When there's a high demand of power, electricity becomes very high. When there is a low, it falls, the pricing falls, and it is always desired that the demand remains as flat as possible using various software technologies, and this is possible when there is a participation from the consumer and utility participation makes it possible. The grid has smart attributes for generation, transmission, and distribution. Generation requires microgrid, transmission required integrated renewable energy, so say DERs with synchrophase technology, placement of phase measurement units, PDCs analytics. So smart distribution requires that advanced metering infrastructure, outage management, peak load management, power utility management, electric vehicles. This is a very important component of smart grid, that it should provide electricity to the electrical vehicles. Now, the technology must be scalable. That means, as per the requirement of the consumers, I have to vary the quality of required quality service, and I have to vary the performance. So there's a graph showing from personal device to mainframes, local, enterprise, and global. The performance also go up, and the network, the smart grid network, is so scalable that it can accommodate itself with the exact requirement of the consumer at any instant. Smart grid starts with version 1, which will offer only intelligent metering, and the rest of the features are available in version 2, which includes the advanced autonomous controls, distributed energy storage, features of low power grid, microgrid of the renewable energies. These are distributed generation architectures and autonomous control of loads. Talking about the microgrid, the pilot microgrid, some of the features are that it to cater the requirements of household requirements, say around 100 kilowatts, distributed energy resources, the DERs, solar photovoltaic cell, wind generation, biomass plant, or battery, energy storage devices. Now, design and development of microgrids central controller, MGCC, generation and load, a demonstration of indigenous capability in development of eco-friendly microgrid, a scalable and replicable model is what is desired as a salient feature of microgrid. Some components of microgrids are phasor measurements unit, smart meter, which is the most important of DERs, transfer through long range transfer with headquarters data management center. This data management center, we can use a cloud communication system with wireless communication, long range wireless communication. We have power management app or smart power app in safe house, smart automated device, power account management. That you can, control all your electrical devices, uh, even offline. I mean, when you are in office or somewhere outside room, you can control your devices so that there is no electrical hazards ever happen. Number one, that electrical billing minimum becomes minimum. That means when you don't require some electrical appliance to run, you do not require it that much, you can close it, test, and whenever the peak load is reduced, you can use it. Measurement unit is very important because phasor, there should not be any phase difference between the receipt and the customer premises electric power. So the benefit is that it is simple to detect abnormal waveform shapes, sub-second data, dynamic behavior of observing high data rates and low latency due to computation. Filling you have in the smart grid, you have all the cable, overhead line, bus, motion plug, etc. So everything you can see in the control room, and you can manage remotely from the with self-healing from the central place. Of this smart grid competition is the load forecasting. Several models are available. Mathematical based model is that auto recursive and integration of both. In exponential smoothing, iterative weighted mean square, multiple regression, etc. for effective demand side management. Also, you have artificial intelligence based models like using neural networks, fuzzy logic, expert system, etc. Next is energy management system, which is a residential EMS, is a demand response program to consumers to manage their power usage for reducing the electricity bill. As I mentioned, that energy management system models are required for grid, gears, batteries, electric vehicles, and home appliances such as fridge, geyser, vacuum cleaner, etc. Electricity cost is reduced at the minimum, and find out operational modes of different loads. For example, if you need to wash your clothes using washing machine, you can wait till the peak demand is reduced. And you can start your washing machine that time, so that you can get reduced rate of electricity during that time. Various optimization algorithms are available based on mixed integer linear programming formulation. It is the synchronization and security of this grid, particularly when it is real-time estimation required. Power generation system in presence of voltage unbalance and frequency variations caused mainly due to increasing presentation of renewable energy sources into grid. Or you have your thermal power station that will not, that output of thermal power, electrical power will never match with the solar power or wind power. So we have to synchronize all them and tracking the phase angles of the utility network so that they can be synchronized. Physical system having more embedded intelligence and networking capacity has to be embedded into it. And finally, the sensors required to monitor various aspects of the grid, such as meter and voltage fluctuation, so that it can be properly synchronized and security can be ensured. Now, the benefits of the smart grid can be looked upon in a utility way, on the eyes of utility as well as eyes of the consumers. You have seen the various things, reduction of losses, and make the grid stable, peak load management, reduce capital cost, operation cost, satisfaction, etc. But so for the benefits to the consumer is very important. The consumer can become prosumers. become a producer and consumer. For example, I have a small industrial unit as a consumer. I may have one small captive power plant, or even in a domestic, I can have one solar power plant. I can install a solar station in my premises. Now, two things. When the solar power or whatever maybe the captive power is insufficient to satisfy my demand, then I can take from the grid. Have any use of that produced electricity, I can sell it to the grid. So the same consumer can become a producer when they supply to the grid. Smart. And improve quality of power supply because green power is available. And transparent interface with utilities. With the smart meter, a smart control, everything user friendly. Reduction in electricity bills by shifting loads from peak hours to non-peak hours, as I mentioned. Interact with the electricity market and smart meter connectivity. Opportunity to purchase energy from clean sources, further creating a demand for the shift from a carbon-based to a green economy. If I know I want that, I don't want any thermal power electricity for that solar or wind produce electricity, higher cost. The way we used to see the internet, similarly Power Grid has a power net. The way data is transformed from one node to another via multiple routes based on the route advantage. Similarly, power also can travel from one point depending on its availability and other features. So this network, the smart grid, is also, it becomes a power net. That the controller of an internet is centralized from internet. But in case of PowerNet, it is autonomous. Autonomous distributed agents, they reside in the distributed energy generators. That is, every microgrid station, they have their agents to control the power net. So there is only the difference. It is, one is the centralized, one is the decentralized. Now, considering the power sector in India, 5% of thermal power, hydel power 22%, nuclear power is about 3%, and renewable nearly 10%. And users are industry 22%, domestic, agriculture also same 22%, commercial 8%, and others 10%. So we can see the trend and other features are given. Now, considering India, we have total 5 regional grids in India, normal grid, north, south, east and west, and northwest, another grid. 2 operational smart grids in India, one is in Dehradun, and another is Puducherry, erstwhile Pondicherry. And this picture shows the control room of the Puducherry. And there are 4 sanctioned smart grid projects under a National Smart Grid Mission under Ministry of Power. These are under construction in Chandigarh, Ranchi, Rourkela, and 6 towns as integrated project in Rajasthan. This is the scenario, Indian scenario. Now, with the 2 existing smart grids in India, what benefits we achieve? Aggregated technical and commercial losses reduced from 22.6 to 8.6%. And carbon reduction is equivalent to 87,000 tons per annum. It enables energy audit, cost of billing, remote control, it enables remote load control, and shifting of peak requirements to non-peak time, which is known as peak shaving. Integration of large-scale renewable generation towards green energy development. So the experience of India, we got benefits. But the issues of the large-scale integration is that the green energy or the microgrids, they are not continuous. They are intermittent. For example, when there is when there is sun, the sunny weather you can get power in solar through energy, but in the dark you will not get, or rainy season you won't get. Similarly, when there is a wind, you will get the windmill operated. So it is uncertain, connected at remote and concentrated locations with weak transmission network, and renewable plants providing lesser grid support during system disturbances and exigencies. Um, Now there are three domains. The generation, distribution requires that sources, advanced plans. So I already mentioned here EMUs, etc., phase measuring units, etc., metering. Now these all, if are integrated, if we need to integrate these for smart grid operation, and we have to integrate, what we need? We need huge data. We need huge infrastructure. We need huge resources. So the question is that how to store, how to process and analyze those enormous data? The answer is we should go for cloud computing, where we can use the internet to access someone else's software running on someone else's hardware in someone else's data center. Maximize the efficiency of all the productions. It has three categories of resources. One is the application. In rented house, you can keep on rent applications. You can hire the platforms. You can hire the infrastructure with this cloud architecture as per your need. Now, the cloud computing, I will not go much details into this. There are three types of services. One is the IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And depending on the requirement of the grid, they can purchase the infrastructure or platform or software from the different sources as I have given. Now, the cloud deployment models are, it could be public cloud like SAP, Amazon, IBM, Intercloud, Microsoft, Oracle. Amazon is the biggest public cloud worldwide. Now we have private cloud, community cloud, hybrid cloud. Private cloud means, for example, the banks, they require the data to be very secure. They don't like to share with any resource. So they should have their own cloud. There's a private cloud. Community cloud also for example, steel plants, their power setup, they may have their own community cloud. And hybrid cloud is a mixture of those. So the smart grid, they have to take the help of the cloud, not from the public cloud, but the other three modes. Now the grid and cloud you compare, common to both is that both maximizes the use of existing resources and uses abstraction extensively. The concept is the same. That grid, one large task job is shared by multiple small machines, whereas cloud offers users a variety of services without investing in the underlying architecture from the web browsing. Now, the drawbacks of decentralized cloud computing for its loosely coupled grouping has been solved by the centralized computing activity using grid computing. That means if we integrate grid computing with cloud computing, then the benefits of both can be integrated without needing to bear any drawbacks of each. That is a great advantage of grid computing and cloud computing together, making together. Now, the energy efficient home, as an example, that one home can have many things. These are the examples given. I've taken from government of India, the Ministry of Power example. If somebody, it is a long back, the price has been, there's escalation of price. That time it was estimated if you have 35,000 needed for making your home smart grid, then you get the advantage. You can save rupees 796 monthly for electricity bill, and in total annually you can save something 11,688 something, and you can reduce the air pollution by 2.6%, 2.6 tons of carbon dioxide. And these are the benefits if you have an energy efficient home, which is connected to a smart grid, where you have one smart meter in your home. You can control all your devices, electrical thermal devices, is smart meter connected to the grid. And you can shift your requirement, and you can control all your devices offline, I mean out of the house also. Demonstration of real-time, real-like smart home, Power Grid smart home solutions. That central room is there, and there's a home, and you have all your devices, the geyser, bulbs, or water light, your washing machine, fridge, etc. Using your smart app, smartphone app. You have your energy meter, you have your radio frequency model, you have cutoff, load cutoff. You can do anything, you can control from your mobile. Whenever there is any problem, you can control it from your smartphone. You can switch on, switch off. You can shift your requirement from one time to different time. And this means that real smart home you can build using this smart grid. The question is how to control and communicate with this. When you talk, that your device will talk. Suppose there's a problem in your fridge. It cannot talk. How can it communicate to you that there is a fault in the fridge? Similarly, washing machine may have problem. How can it communicate? So we need some technology so that the things can communicate with each other. That is Internet of Things. So use of Internet, which is wireless, to connect common objects using sensors, computer devices, uses the IoT. It uses radio frequency identifier, RFID, sensors, and GPS. There are three types of communication. IoT communicates with the T2T or M2M. That is thing-to-thing communication or machine-to-machine communication, which is IoT. Human-to-human or human-to-thing communication is already there. Human-to-thing is the way we use remote control for TV operation or AC operation. Is that email, etc. So the third one, that T2T or M2M, is our concern. Now any object can be turned into a thing and may look much like an embedded system. A thing generally consists of four main parts: actuators, microcontrollers, communication unit, and power supply. A thing is usually powered by a battery with limited energy source, small in size, low cost, and limited computing capability, which is unable to perform complex tasks. And therefore, power consumption is a key design, because the sensors are kept to monitor the things. They learn what they want, and we cannot provide large power to them because of their location and their weight, etc. Communication, a thing must communicate. How to communicate? We use normal that Wi-Fi or your wireless PAN or infrared, whatever may be, we can use for communication. The network for managing nodes, relaying data packets. We use networks all in distributed system, which is mostly used sensor network, but we can use also ad hoc networks, mesh networks, but all the networks should be reliable with high performance for operations of smart grid. Now, sensors and actuators are inputs and outputs for these Internet of Things. For example, suppose there is a problem in your automobile or your fridge or TV. Somebody should sense that. So it could be one could be passive sensors like mic is omnidirectional, One is passive with narrowband sensors, like passive infrared (PIR). One could be active sensors like ultrasonic sonar radio, sonar radar, etc. Sonar uses ultrasonic sound, and output is the actuator, which will sense to the sensors and perform job based on the sensing input. These actuators can produce light, heat, sound, etc. They can control motors to move objects, display messages, etc. Now, things connecting to things, an example I give. Suppose I have a car and we have a complex and heterogeneous resources and networks. There are multiple mobile nodes and routers. MR is the router, which can control the nodes. So any problem in the car can, through IoT, can send message to the service station for repair. That means if through internet, if there is a problem inside this, it can send the service center for repair. Or if the petrol or fuel is about the limiting stage, then it can find out with the help of the GPS where is the nearest petrol pump, and it will get an alarm that there is a petrol pump nearby. Please fuel your tank immediately, so that you may not be in problem. And if there is a problem, it will get a signal that please repair this thing, like this. This is the IoT advantage of IoT. This sensor network, the core network, this is one feature of the IoT. There should be gateway, and one node is called the sync node, the pilot node, and these all are low power devices. Each consists of sensors and could be of different types of sensors. Now, smart grid and IoT solutions, they're from field to internet. IT means that information technology. That is that ICT we call, how the operating technology can be integrated with that. That is very important. At the beginning of the slide, I showed the infrastructure, the traditional infrastructure of the electrical distribution system, and what is added is ICT based, and if both are integrated, then it becomes smart grid. The question is that it is easy to say about integration, but it's difficult to implement in practice. So overlaying of ICT on operating technology OT, is the main challenge of smart grid. Deliver smart energy using smart data center by integrating devices smartly, and we make the generating station smart by producing power efficiently. We can bridge the supply and demand for energy service provider, and making renewable deliverable to the user end. That is also a task of smart grid with IoT. So the topic of this, one of the element of the topic is the reliability. So reliability means that if it is a repairable, mean time to failure. I mean, between the two failures for the time, it is non-repairable, then it is mean time to repair. Sorry, if it is repairable, mean time to repair. If it is non-repairable, it is mean time to failure. So, but in case of smart grid, if we have adequate resources, and if we have operational security issues resolved, and we have proper power system planning for operation, then it becomes reliable. So reliability depends on an ideal mix of resources, such as renewables, demand response, and storage. You have different kind of heterogeneous power sources, generating sources, and how we mix it properly, how we mix with the demand of the user end. One customer could be a domestic customer, one is the industrial customer, their requirements are different. So all these reliability issues come with the adequate power supply as per demand, and improvement and electric congestion prevention in large-scale presence of green energy. Investment of energy and centralized resources by efficient and renewable distributed generations. That also causes reliability. Increasing utilization of renewable DERs, optimal and reliable operation of distribution networks, the new uncertainties to the power system operation also make the system reliable. So these uncertainty you have to resolve using software, and it should be flexible enough in the demand side to cope up with the power system that improve the power system resilience. Resilience means is a protection or is a resistance from the environmental hazards. Security issues in smart grid. The attackers may disrupt the security of the smart grid systems with techniques such as denial of service. Those who are working on the network security, they are well aware of the denial of service attack, random attack, data injection attack, by exploiting the communication infrastructure among the sensors, actuators, and control system which are open and we are parse mode. They can use it for these attacks. So we need a robust security framework for the smart grid, like Kalman filter, which is commonly used for any smart grid operation for predicting probable failure. The Euclidean detector that detects any deviation are some of the common tools used to estimate a series of predictor variables that can detect system faults and attacks due to denial of service attack, short-term attack, or long-term or random attacks, false data injection attack, etc. Now, areas of interest in smart grid, those who want to learn more about smart grid, those who want to do study smart grid, those who want to do research on smart grid, they have multiple areas on these. And like load forecasting model smart grid, you can model using simulating tools. Then you can model the mathematical model for demand response and management in smart grid. The smart grid energy hub storage models you can make. You can study residential energy management in smart grid, how you can manage in better way residential energy. Then mathematical modeling of smart grid interactions. The smart microgrid models. Microgrid means those grids, microgrids in the DERs, small grids. Wide area smart grid networks, smart grid communication networks, smart grid building using IoT, that is also area of interest. Smart grid security issues and Kalman filter. There is a lot of variations of Kalman filter, a lot of various applications of Kalman filter, a lot of papers available. The environmental issues related to the smart grid also an area of interest. Now I conclude. I have almost nearly concluded as per time. So my concluding remarks will be that the growing usage, demand for reliability, security, efficiency, energy sustainability, that is very important. Environmental concerns are initiating a quantum leap in harnessing ICT and other enabling technologies to cope up with the enhanced complexity of power grid computations, which leads to the adoption of smart grids. Now, the 4 energy objectives: energy efficiency, using it as less as possible, conservation of energy, then competitive, secure, low carbon energy supply, it should be low priced, energy system optimization, and smart technologies, adoption of smart technologies. These technologies are dynamic, new technologies coming, we should be able to adapt in the smart grid. Then transport sector decarbonization using grid connectivity using IoT. Very important, we talk about electric vehicles, EV, that sector requires that smart grid connectivity. Now, making the grid infrastructure smart with meters, connected homes and building becomes transparent. Devices, about 50 billions by 2020 this year, across a variety of industries will be interconnected through the internet, and peer-to-peer connection as well as smart grid infrastructure networks, consumers, manufacturers, and utility providers will uncover new ways to manage devices and ultimately conserve resources and save money by using smart meters, home gateways, smart plugs, and connected appliances. Now, I want to mention one thing, that the topic smart grids is very significant for the electrical engineers because it integrates engineering, electronics, instrumentation, and you see the electrical engineering is the mother of all their byproducts. So it is this area is a forum platform for the electrical engineers to integrate all these byproduct branches of engineering and technologies. So we move towards green as energy and smart city using this integrated approach, and more stringent security, private issues will be there. I thank you for your patience listening and cooperating in my presentation. Thank you very much. And if there is any question, I am ready to answer. I'll request you to refer to the slide number so that it makes me easy, makes my job easy.
Participants are requested to ask some question if you have any doubt regarding this wonderful presentation.
Any question?
Any question?
Any participants having any question?
Sorry? You can put any slide or a general also you can ask, no problem. I have to find out the slide number. I think I have in time, no? I was asked to finish by
Yes,
8:05, exactly 1 hour I took. Oh, request, can I get this? Yes, yes, definitely. I think it is. It will be available on YouTube, and you can get the slides. Somebody asked that getting slides. No problem. I have prepared for you for next generation. I cannot, I mean, use it for anything else. So it is for you. If you take it and get benefited with these slides, definitely I'll share it. No problem. But as such, I think it will be available in YouTube and your website. I mean, I think can or.
Sir,
Sir, one hand here by Auditro Ghosh.
Assistant, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
One right here by Auditro Ghosh in chat box.
Yes, yes, yes.
And also from Dr. Rajendra Kumar.
Yes, one by one you can allow them.
Sir, first question from Mr. Auditro Ghosh. While loop used in for groundware in transmission tower.
Can you give in a message box? Then it will be better because sometimes there is audio problem. You can.
It is in the message box. It is in the message box.
Message box. You can give. I think that will be.
Sir, you can check in the chat box.
What is the hurdles in the way of implementing smart grid? Is off now. What is the hurdle of implementing smart grid? This is a question. This is a question. Hello?
Sir.
Hurdles.
No hurdles.
What are the hurdles?
the
See,
way of implementing
hurdles-
smart technology in our country in India?
Already I mentioned that there are two existing smart gates which has yielded lot of benefits that I also mentioned in the slides. One is Puducherry, another is Dehradun, and four smart gates projects in the pipeline, they are underway. It requires lot of initial investment by the government, number one. Number two, it requires a lot of integrated technologies and lot of expertise all together. I told that it is the mother of electrical branch. So we require computer engineers, we need instrumentation engineer, we need electrical engineer, we need data scientists, everybody. So this is a so well synchronized technology that everybody has to contribute well to make it smart really. And we are leading not only to smart grid, but world is leading towards smarter grid. That means if the grid is already made smart, makes smarter by applying newer and newer applications, applying newer and newer technologies for better benefit, for better economy and better facilities to the consumers, and the better revenue to the generator. That also very important. So it is the question of investment mainly.
Okay, sir. Thank you. The next question is why loop used in for the ground wire, the transmission tower? It is for the
Sorry?
link of optical line
Sorry,
or ground wire. Why the loop used in the ground wire in the transmission tower?
transmission tower, ground wire.
Yes,
What
yes,
is
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
question? Can you write it?
Yes, sir. It is mentioned in the chat box, sir. You can check the
Ashish
chat
sir,
box. I have just written it.
sir, just you go to the chat box and see the question put up by Mr. Auditro or Sovik Bagchi.
Yeah, how to go to the chat box?
Yes, right.
So on the right side there is a chat written. You click on there. On the right side, chat is written on the right side, top.
I said
Top. You will see chat is written.
One message kind of box is there, a small icon. You can check.
Side people. On the right side list of people are there. So there on the right side.
report a
Chat
problem
is
with
written.
phone audio turn cap.
No, sir, right hand top corner.
A small kind of
Sir, right hand top corner. Small. Right
Turn
hand top
on
corner.
captions. Is it?
No, sir. Right hand top corner.
Top. Acha, acha.
in the top.
Yes. Right hand top corner chat is written. You click
Where
there
the
once,
time is
left
shown,
click.
just adjust it to the
Yes, now
time.
get it. I got it. Okay. I got it.
So you click,
Yes.
You click on there on the chat. Welcome.
Yes,
sir.
I got the chat box. Dr. Rajendra Kumar.
Sovik Bagchi sir, just you go through that question and just have a
Okay. Acha, what is the difference between microgrid and nanogrid? See, the grid already normally grid means the main grid of the power station, which we are used to use in nuclear power or thermal power like this. But in case of renewable energy, we call it microgrid. Now, suppose I have my own solar station in my house. It cannot become suppose in my area of living in my complex, we make a community in which we all have small solar power. So we all make nanogrids, make a microgrid for fitting before the main grid. So depending on the size of the grids, depending on the size of the generation, the name has been given: nanogrid, microgrid, and main grid. This is the question. Next is, what are the hurdles in the way of implementing smart technology in our country? Hurdles I bought
Another question is there.
Why loop used in
Another question is there.
one by one
Yes, sir.
coming. One by one coming. Acha, it was in request. What is the difference between microgrid and nanogrid? What is the hurdles in the way of implemented? Why loop used for ground wire in transmission tower? It's for link of optical line or continued ground wire as by Auditro Bose. What is the difference between micro and okay? Already I answered. I repeat the answer that an optical ground wire. Optical ground wire. If you ever notice any electrical transmission line, you will find one extra wire the top of the transmission line, which is used to protect the electrical lines from lightning. If the lightning is catching the power supply, it will catch the topmost line, which is directly grounded. So it will seek for any, if lightning comes, it will seek for anything which is grounded. So the top is totally grounded, then the lightning voltage will bypass, it will not hit the transmission line. Okay. Now, in case of smart gate, what do? We utilize that ground wire on the top, making a different type of ground wire. We call it OPG, optical ground wire. What is that? The normal, that steel armored protected wire, like ACSR wire is there, aluminum coated steel reinforced ACSR wire. ACSR wire, but inside, instead of steel, it is not. It is a fiber optic which is embedded into that. Now the purpose is that even if there is a lighting, it pass and go through it, but it will not have any electrical interference, because fiber optic itself is electrically insulated. It can pass light signal. That means communication signal data can be transmitted with high bandwidth, but no electrical power can transmit to fiber optic. So it is as good as insulator. So for electricity is concerned, if it is electricity, it will not be affected anyway. So on the other hand, the shield that is a properly metallic, which is grounded, so hazard, natural hazard will be directly grounded instead of, and protecting the high tension line or extra volt EV lines. Optical ground wire. Anything else?
One more question is put it by Deepak Shah, sir.
In smart grid, price of power is decided by the demand. Will this deny the poor the freedom of using power as their need and requirement? Look, this question is not technical question. It is a social question. Anyway, I can give you the idea. Smart is who can afford to have smart grid? Smart grid, you have to pay for your smart home. That means you should have a smartphone which will have a smart app to control your AC, everything. Poor man cannot have all this. They will have a simple bulb or LED light, so they are not affected. Moreover, another thing is that our electricity rate, when the demand is high, that time the rate will be high. Now, if a poor man with a 10 or 18 watt bulb is lighting during peak hours event, it is not affecting much to him. But if a washing machine is run or AC is done, that is much significant. So for poor man as such, because average cost will reduce. One thing is that with smart grid, the overall electrical cost will be reduced. Why? Because the loss totally reduced. I mean, not totally, I mean, significantly reduced. Electrical loss will be reduced, failure will be reduced, and as a result, the total or operating cost will be reduced. Therefore, it is expected that the electrical cost will reduce, expected technically. But if government policy is that even the cost is reduced, we will not reduce the cost of electricity. That is a different issue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
Any other questions from the participants end?
Sir, what I found with the presentation that smart grid implementation needs a very strong internet connection and connectivity. So in
Exactly.
a country like India, the internet connectivity is not good everywhere. So how many years it will take to cover the most of the portion of India under this smart grid technology? Because that requires improvement in strong internet connectivity bandwidth. Already we are having less bandwidth compared to other countries, because the number of users are more, but the bandwidth these are less. So we need be reality of getting implemented in larger scale, say in a span of 10 years or 5 years, or we have to wait for even more longer time.
Okay. Should I start answering?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, please.
Considering all the issues of a smart grid, the internet connectivity is insignificant. That is not at all an issue. Provide high-speed data in your mobile phone in the village, and it's a government project. What is the problem of giving high-speed internet? No problem. Is that what you need? In fact, to continue the internet connectivity, you need you need some infrastructure, you need some platform, you need data, for which you need cloud. Once you have the cloud, you have cloud, then all the problems will resolve. Then the cloud has, when the cloud, in presence of cloud, the internet connectivity is a minor issue. It is not at all issue. Because when you have sufficient infrastructure, you can have internet facility. So it is not the question of poor country or rich country, it is the attitude. If we can afford to have this bullet train, if we can afford to send your in the space, if you can spend if you can spend a lot of money for our devices, we can spend also money for this smart grid also, no problem. Smart grid, see one thing, smart grid is not only for improving the quality of electricity, not only for reducing the cost of electricity, not only making the system transparent, but making a huge difference in the way people think. A long impact on our daily life. We can control everything. There will be no electrical complaint because you can see what's going on. The quality of life will have a lot of impact in smart grid. So it is integrating everything: vehicle, electrical vehicles, your home. So which was not, which could not be thought of earlier using just electrical grids. And we are trying to, I mean, world is going for even a smarter grid.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. So thank you very much. I think I don't know whether I could satisfy you or not. I tried to do best justice for you.
No, no, sir. It was okay. It's
No,
good,
it's
sir.
a
Thank you, sir.
wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. The presentation
us.
was very nice. We have a lot of learning from your presentation about smart grid. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
So over to Souvik. Souvik, please.
Yes, yes, sir. Now, actually, we are just towards the finishing of our entire event. Now, we need to forward for the valedictory session very soon. So, before proceeding valedictory session, I need to thank Professor Dr. Ashish Mukhopadhyay, who entertained us by his valuable knowledge sharing to us, and always we will welcome you, sir, in our college as well as always we need to contact with you. Thank you, sir. And so now we want to proceed for the valedictory session. So to continue the valedictory session, I want to hand it over the mic to our PIC of Electrical Engineering Department, Mr. Shubhajit Roy, sir. So, and also he is the coordinator of this event. So please, Shubhajit sir, continue for the further in the valedictory session.
Thank you, Souvik, for your introduction and first portion of this today's program. The last day of our program, it actually started 5 days ago, and most of us was also present in that program. So first of all, I like to say good evening to all my seniors, faculty members, and our group director sir is there. Our both of the deans are there. Obviously, Ashish sir is one of our main speaker for us, and obviously one of our guide even. Good evening, sir, to you also. And first of all, I like to say thanks to you for really a great session that you have maintained, and you have just completed within a 1 hour time. It is really marvelous to say. And I like to thank all the participants for joining today's session. Before proceeding for the further portion of the valedictory session, I like to request our convener of this program, Dr. Rishabdev Shukla, sir, to say a few words, and then we will proceed to our Dean Academics and also our Group Director, sir, for their words also. So over to Professor Shukla.
Okay. Thank you, Shobhajit. Thank you. And very much thank you to Ashish sir that sir you have accepted our invitation. Your talk is very much ready for us. We have a lot of learning from your talk, and I would like to extend my thanks to the management that they have permitted us. They have given us such kind of infrastructure that we have. Even that would be maybe it is not possible in five days. It will require much more time, but we have a lot of effort to complete it within the 5 days. In roughly say we have 250 participants, active registrations are there. In all 5 days, we have received around more than 140 feedbacks, and all the feedbacks is totally inspiring for us. They have given what we say good remarks for us. So it is the remarks for our quality. It is the marks related to the technical content. It is related to the. So thank you to all the participants. I would like to thank our group directors. They have motivated us. They have given an opportunity to organize such kind of events. And Dean Academics are also is right from the beginning. They have in our discussion how we are going to organize it, how we are going to deal with such kind of events. So thank you, Dean sir. And we have around 5 sessions where we have considered mostly the new topics, which is related to the smart grids, which is related to the power grid issues, such as power qualities and challenges, introduction to neural network and fuzzy intelligence control application in our energy scenario. So I think it is not in here. We are going further also. So I would like to now give this to Shubhajit again. Shubhajit, please now hand it to you.
For your words. Thank you for your words. It's always been a good opportunity for all of us to work with you as a team. And you are an excellent convener and making the things so easy for us to maintain. To request our Dean of Academics, Professor Dr. Inen Jana sir, to say a few words, and then we will go our group directors.
Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
I'd like to thank Professor Mukhopadhyay to accept our offer, really to be part of this program. Initially, I'd like to thank our group director sir to really inspire us to go for this kind of event. Rather, I should say right from the beginning of this pandemic, asked us to go for something which is out of the box thinking. He was asking all the departments to go for a webinar sort of thing, and definitely all of the departments really they wait for that. Department really went something ahead of everyone, and they could come up with at least 5-day program as a short-term training program, which is the first, rather I should say, in pandemic period by the BPITL Electrical Engineering Department. So definitely it is very much motivating to definitely for ourselves as well as to other departments. Rather, this particular event motivated us to go for something bigger one. Maybe we are thinking or rather we are planning to have international seminar or international faculty development program to a large scale. And so this program definitely has enriched us to go for that kind of program in future. And definitely this will be encouraging other department as well. And as far as this program is concerned, I would like to thank all the resource persons who really came forward to have this kind of event within a very short time. Rather, I should say, even for the participants also, they could come up within a very short time, and this program could be made as a successful one. And what I should say that electrical department will be definitely torch bearer for the others. So thank you all the team members of BBIT to really come up with a successful 5-day short-term training program. Thank you all of you.
Sir, there is one announcement, Shubhajit. Put the feedback of day 5 and also the overall feedback. I'm requesting participant to fill it by tomorrow before 12 noon.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Jana sir, for your encouraging words. And now I like to move to our group director, sir, Mr. Tapas Shatabati, sir, to say a few words, as he was with us from the very beginning of the program, and his words are always very encouraging for us. And sir, please, a few words from you.
Very good evening. It's really a pride privilege for me to be present in this fantastic STDP program organized by Electrical Department of our college. On behalf of my chairman, Mr. Jagannath Gupta, our vice chairman, Mr. K.K. Gupta, our CEO, Dr. Balaram Gupta, and executive director, Dr. Shubhangi Gupta, I again convey my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all the dignitaries and the departmental team members. Those who took, yes, they can. My vision was definitely in a critical juncture when I took charge. It was 1st of April, proceeded to pandemic, and that time the main challenge was to continue academic in this place. Many of my colleagues of different places has asked me, sir, this time. I said, always the threat is the learning time. So the threat is not automatic. Threat has been there for everybody. But yes, my team, my colleague, and especially our Dean Academics and Dean Diploma with the coordinator, Mr. Shubhajit, really, I am thankful to all of you. You could prove the quality of the seminar. STDP program is a regular program for everyone. We know short-term training program is a part of our academia, and we score marks also institution-wise. In online, this program gave us a new way. It's a new age for us, really, to think something else in future. I'm thankful to all the dignitaries present in all the 5 days. And previously, as Dr. Rishabh Shukla told, yes, on the inaugural day, it was around 275 participants was there. And keeping strength till the end, average participant is around 150 or plus. So 5 days, this motivation is a great achievement. Sir, I am really grateful to all of you. I hope in future, again, you can show something and enrich our academic with your contribution. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your words. It's always so much motivating for all of us, and especially for young people like we are working as a team right now. And we always actually require your help to grow, and we always require your help to organizing this kind of program. My team has given me the position to give the last or conclusion thought of this program. First like to thanks to my management for giving me the opportunity to work with them, and I like to say that I'm work with this institute for last 4 years. When I started working here, it was the institute. Now it's getting my family. This pandemic, yes, I was missing my family for a few days, but whenever that online education has started from the last March ending time, it became the families became again we became again one family. So that's possible only due to these good initiatives taken by our Dean Academics and obviously our group directors. Now I'm coming to the few of the statistics and one couple of pictures that I have to show that I have in this college for the 4 years. So I just like to show one thing as couple of programs we have done in last couple of years. So just I'm taking 2 last minutes from you, and I hope my screen is visible to all. So it all actually started. It was my first program in this college. That was in the year 2017. Our chairman sir was there. Couldn't able to come to this program. And here is that our Satyapati sir is also there in 2017 with us. And obviously, you see our Ashish sir is also there. That time we have our director sir, Gautam Gangopadhyay sir, and I was also our partner at that time. Then again, some activities has been done during 2018 and 19. Again, Ashish sir was speaker for us, and also lots of other eminent speaker was there. Obviously, you can see our student strength and our students' capabilities are there for us. Our students, so I'm also proud of them. We are all, as I told, that we are a family, and this is our family. It's just a part of our family. Our family is too large to get into a single picture. Is also in the last of 2019. Here we also have the speakers like Vishwet Bhattacharya and Dr. Devashish Chatterjee sir, and this is the last one, the current going on session. So these pictures are not pictures. These are my memories, and these memories will stay with me for every time that how long I will survive in this world. And last, before concluding the session, I just like to give you statistical information, because we are engineers and engineers always believe in statistics. So as our seniors dignitaries has told already, that we have total participants around 300 plus, out of which has 275 participants we have to close our registration, and 30 are local participants in basically the faculty members and others. Out of that, we have total 24 different states of India we have covered. So the participants from 24 different states has joined us. Even the international participants from Saudi Arabia and Malaysia has joined us. The total participant number, there is 55.64% of the participants are external. So we have the technical sponsorship of Institute of Engineers India and Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. So I am really thankful to both of them, and a special thanks to Ashish Mukherjee sir for that IET sponsorship. And we have our most elder participant in this is Professor Dr. R.N. Chakraborty, whose age is currently 79. So these are really good numbers, and the statistics what we counting, it's really very much of a motivating for us for making such a program again. And we are really like to have another program in an international webinar very soon. So hopefully I will able to view again all the faces that are today with me, And we have regularly around 200 participants joined using Google Meet and YouTube. We have to move to the YouTube platform just because we cannot take 300 participants in a Google Meet there. So that's why lots of participant is there in YouTube there as well. So thank you to all the participants, and very much thankful to all the speakers, especially for all the 5 days. Your lectures are really wonderful, and obviously Ashish sir is my guide. I have nothing more to say about him. He is always with me, and whatever I am today, he has a lot of things to do there, because he has helped me really a lot. I'd like to thanks from my heart, sir. Thank you for joining and giving us the opportunity to have you in our session. And I hope that all the sessions were very much good and very much helpful for you, very much informative for you all. And thanks to all my seniors and thanks to all the participants, I like to conclude the session. Thank you. Thank you all.
I have one point to add. Will you allow me to say something?
Sure, sir. Sure. Every time, sir.
Yes, my suggestion is that such kind of program, what you have given us to
Short-term training program. Short-term training
program. I suggest that it should be changed to short-term learning program. It is not
sure, sir.
It's a learning program.
Thank you, sir.
It should be LP. This is my suggestion. Just series of lectures is not a part of training, but a part of learning. This is my.
Sure, sir.
So,
sir, basically this terminology is given by the AICTE and NBA other authorities.
Whoever may be, this is my feeling, personal feeling.
Okay, that is okay. We'll accept.
So thank you to everyone, and I think we have completed our session today. And just good night, everyone. Stay safe in this condition and stay healthy at your home. And continue your education on online basis, just how we are in BBIT continuing. And hopeful that we will again meet in somewhere in other program. And thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
We'll get the feedback link very soon. We will mail it to you again today. Just last 4 days we have did. Keep checking your mail. We will send it very soon. Thank you, and you can leave.